I'd like to formally introduce myself. My name is Mike Michalowicz, and I am the author and founder of Profit First, the inventor, if you will. You can see I have the book strategically positioned behind me. And I'm the co-founder of Profit First Professionals. What we're gathered here for today is we're going to talk a little bit about Profit First Professionals. I want to talk about a strategy you can use if Profit First, and I'll explain what we're about, Profit First Professionals. If it's a fit or if it's not a fit, I intend that you walk away with a strategy you can use on your own. Just a little bit of background, or I'm sorry, a little bit of agenda perhaps. We'll spend maybe 35 to 40 minutes on this call, max. I really do appreciate your time. My goal is to explain everything about Profit First Professionals, answer any questions you have, so that you can make a decision if this is something that you want to embrace, leverage to really differentiate yourself and stand out in the market, or is it something that maybe it's not the right time for you, and at least you've informed yourself and you can wait and consider again sometime down the road. We're not going anywhere, but we do have urgency because the demand for Profit First Professionals has grown extremely. So just by a sense of background, Profit First, the book, this release came out 2.5 years ago. There was an original edition, which is kind of tucked in behind me. You can see it right there. That came out about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years prior to that. So the Profit First concept has been circulating for about 5 years now, maybe 6. And Profit First Professionals started right when the book was released 5 years ago. And with the re-release of the book, the demand has exploded. I'm happy to say, if you check out Amazon.com, you'll see the book has probably now well over 1,000 reviews. It is a top performing book consistently. And what we do know is there's over 150,000 companies who have implemented some flavor now of Profit First, the full rollout or partial. There's 350 plus Profit First professionals now serving the global community. And we still have a very significant problem. There is more demand from entrepreneurs and businesses to hire Profit First professionals than there are Profit First professionals to satisfy that. So we are looking right now for people who are looking to move from a accounting, bookkeeping, or coaching offering and transition into a consultative model. I'm not saying abandoning what you have done in the past, but using that as a transition so you can move to being consultative to your clients, to, instead of being in many cases reactive or historical looking, compliance oriented type stuff, or looking at the company's history. If you are looking to transition into much more of a consultative, forward looking approach, that's what Profit First Professionals is all about. So let me share a core concept here. And if you have questions, I think Leanne, I'm sorry, I pronounced your name incorrectly, Leelanai. I hope that's how I pronounce your name. I saw you just posted something. If anyone has any questions, let's not use the Q&A. Just post in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer your questions as we move along. I do want to start off, though, with shock of all shocks, a Venn diagram. It seems that every business presentation has these. You'll see what's unique about me is I am not a user of PowerPoint slides. I prefer to do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm going to draw this out on paper. But this is the diagram I'm referring to. I'm not sure I can see it too. And what we're going to talk about is the 3 elements that define a category, an industry leader, an authority, small business or not. How do you become an authority who can dictate a significant premium in the market, who attracts clients that see extraordinary value in you and are willing to pay a premium for the services you provide? Well, the first thing is to have a unique offering. So if you want to draw this out as you follow along with me, it's the intersection of these 3 elements I'm about to teach you that are absolutely critical. And the first element is uniqueness. And what I mean by this is what makes you distinct in the market? What makes you stand out? I was saying, and this may ultimately become a book, is that better is not better, but different is better. The drive of many businesses is to be better than the competition. And this is maybe not a great example, but if I answer the phone on 2 rings and you compete with me and you answer the phone on 1 ring, who's better? Clearly, on that variable, you are better. But does that mean clients will notice? And the answer is rarely do they notice. If we have an extreme offer. Like everyone else takes a month to complete a project, but you get completed in a day. That is so distinct and unique. It stands out by being better. But there's another way to stand out. And the standout is just to challenge the industry standards, the norms, to offer something that the vast majority aren't. And one of my favorite stories is the invention of this device. That's an iPhone. You can see it's 407 here in New Jersey. And what is interesting is before the invention of the iPhone, the dominant phone was the BlackBerry. If in the chat, by the way, if you've ever owned a BlackBerry, post that in the chat. Lanai, the Hawaiian word for female heaven. So I have family on the island of Lanai, by the way. So I've been to Blue Ginger, if you know what I'm talking about, if you've ever been to Lanai. So so a lot of BlackBerry owners. Any crackberries? Okay, so I see one person's bragging they were a teenager back then. Cute. I was a full age adult. So the BlackBerry. The BlackBerry was the dominant phone of the time. And if you look at the BlackBerry, I used to have floating on my desk an old prototype. I don't see it at the moment. Well, I do see it. Hold on. Okay, this will be fun. So the BlackBerry was a dominant phone. Remember, it had all those buttons. So you had the phone with all those different buttons on it. Apple, Steve Jobs, saw the opportunity to enter the space. In fact, he made an announcement saying that the future is in smart device technology. And he demanded from his engineering team to develop a prototype of what subsequently became the iPhone. Now, one thing about uniqueness I want to share is often we demonstrate our uniquenesses in our childhood. When you were a kid growing up, maybe like me, you didn't know the rules. So when you wanted to wear a costume to school or something as a kindergarten or dress like Cinderella or Batman in my case, okay. But as you get older, the teachers say, no, you can't behave like that. And your friends say, if you dress like that, you can't hang out with us. And so we very quickly comply with the social pressures. But some business owners embrace their uniqueness and make it their differentiator in their business. Now, you can Google this later. You don't have to do it now. But check out this one. Steve Jobs had a phobia that he expressed as a child. Now, there was definitely other idiosyncrasies with Steve Jobs, but I think this is the most significant. Steve Jobs had a phobia of buttons. These things, they freaked him out. He literally had a phobia of buttons. So if you want to Google phobia of buttons, Steve Jobs, you're in for a strip. But don't do it now because it'll distract you. Do it after we're done. And as a result, Steve Jobs never wore a button-down shirt. Look at that. Whatchamacallit he always wore, and he's sure that collar, that's turtleneck, I should say. And look at his jeans. He's never worn button-fly jeans. He leveraged that idiosyncrasy. When he told the engineering team to make the new smart device, the iPhone ultimately, I suspect the engineering team came back with the entire idea of betterment, saying, hey, Steve, we were looking at the BlackBerry. We reverse engineered it, which stands for rip off and duplicate, it seems. We've reverse engineered it, or R&D'd it. That's rip off and duplicate. And look what we made, Steve. And they held out the phone with more buttons on it because more buttons is better. And in fact, this is what I wanted to show you. I pulled this one out of the old coffers. Check this out. Remember this one where it slid open? Look at that, a full keyboard on here. The idea of being better was to do more. This was where it was headed. That's where a device was headed. They showed Steve Jobs this phone, and it must make a scene on The Matrix. He's like, wah! As they're holding the phone, he's like, get that away from me. No buttons, no buttons. Steve Jobs' commitment to making a buttonless phone. Now, the first iPhone had one, sunk inside it, one home button. To be buttonless was Steve's requirement. And as a result, they created the iPhone. And as a result, this is my iPhone, they were the first company to blend technology with art. That's uniqueness. It distinguished them. So just tell me, if you're one of the people who said you owned a BlackBerry, do you own an iPhone now? If you do, put that in the chat. just to give us a little sense. So Joshua, you're the first one up. Yes, yes, yes. iPhone 10. Nice, Steve. You're bragging. You are bragging. And I love it. Robert, yes, yes. Okay, good. So one or two no's, but almost everyone's yes. Then there's some people that own Samsungs or the other types of smartphones. iPhone was the game changer. It challenged the norm. And what it did is exploited this component, unique. Apple exploded in success because of that decision. And it wasn't just their commitment to making the iPhone sleek, and Samsung and others have done the same now. But Apple was committed to making other products buttonless. If you own any Mac devices, I actually don't. If you own any Mac devices, check out the Apple mouse. Has no buttons on it. A Microsoft mouse has like, there's like a glove for your hand. There's a roller thing. There's like a foot pump just to keep this thing, giving you more clicks and clacks. The better mentality is to add more of those clicks and clacks. The different mentality, the unique mentality that Apple brought around is essentialism, to bring it down to the core base, to make this an art piece, and Apple dominated. Now, uniqueness alone does not win you business, but it will win you attention every single time. Listen, I could do this this webinar right now, wearing a Bozo the Clown costume, with the big, huge collars and the waka waka look and the squirting flower on the lapel of my jacket. Of course I could do that. And absolutely it'll get your attention. Maybe you'll take some screenshots of the screen as I'm presenting, but will it win business? Unlikely, because it's not congruent with what I'm trying to offer. It doesn't make sense. In fact, it could repulse you if I act so oddly or so weirdly. So uniqueness gets attention, but it needs to be congruent with what the top clients you have or project want. And so that's the second section of this presentation. Is I want you on the Venn diagram is first figure out what can you offer that's truly unique in the market. Who is the client community that resonates with this? Now, it has to be something that's truly distinct and unique if you want to become the leading authority in the market. There has to be a client base that's resonating with it. Steve Jobs, just to use this as a case study, and I know that case study of Apple computers has been used and abused for sure. I think it's a fascinating case study in that they started creating technology that blended with art. They didn't go to the mass market like me and you. They first went to media design companies. I know you remember this. They went after the educational market, people that would embrace technology and art. They saturated that community, and that community ultimately carried them to the broad community, which now is the everyday consumer, which I consider myself, of Apple products. The goal or the opportunity for you is to do the exact same thing. What can you do that's unique in the market, and who's the market you can deliver it to that will resonate with that offering strongly and maybe even carry you forward? I had the blessing of talking with Brian Smith, the founder of UGG. So I think there was one person joined us from Australia, so thanks for joining in. And I sat down with Brian Smith, and I was talking about the introduction of UGG to the US. A lot of people don't know this. If you're not familiar with the UGG story, I thought it was a product made for teenage girls when it came out. No, when he brought the product about, it was actually for surfers. What happened in the 70s, there was a change in the surfing scene in the US, particularly in California. That was the hub of the surfing scene. And neoprene suits had become advanced. So neoprene, the material was getting thinner and thinner, allowing more flexibility, which meant if you threw on the neoprene, you could keep your body warm in the cold winter ocean. Now, surfers keep their hands exposed and their feet exposed so they can get grip on their board and paddling, but they cover the rest of their body, which meant now they're going in the ocean year round. Coming out of the cold winter ocean, you're cold. Your hands and feet are cold. And they run to the beach and try to warm their feet up with campfires and wrapping their feet in towels and blankets and stuff like that. Brian Smith is observing this, and he goes, oh my gosh, I have the solution for this. He had a uniqueness, something that was already established in Australia, these UGG boots, and brought them to the US. Specifically, UGG boots, you may not know why they're designed the way they're designed. They use a material called shearling inside, and shearling is a natural material that's harvested from, I think it was goats or sheep. And this material doesn't collect any bacteria, which means no odor. And if no odor, you can put your cold, wet feet into these shoes and they'll never collect odor. Secondly, UGG boots, the traditional boots, are about calf high. They're designed that way specifically, again, for surfers. So when you have your boots on, you're walking down the beach, that when the sand kicks up, it doesn't kick up and over into the boot. Now, you don't want the boot so high that it's all the way up your leg, because it's not necessary. It's actually too warm and it can get uncomfortable or be inconvenient. So you want the right height so sand can't kick in, instead of being too low where sand gets in and grinds against your feet. So very specific, unique elements in the UGG shoe, targeting a very specific community that had a very specific need. You have to serve a community that's being underserved currently, something that's unique, and you resonate with the community. There's a third component, though, that is necessary too, and it's called systems. And what I mean by this is, can your business deliver on these things without active effort on your behalf? Meaning, can you attract prospects, deliver your offering to those prospects, have them raving about the experience, being served extraordinarily well, maybe even recommending to other clients, paying you great money, all while you're sleeping? And that's the key. Can your business go full cycle without your active input? That's systemization. And sadly, many businesses don't achieve systemization, so we carry the business on our back. I suspect some people on this call, even right now as you're listening in, have what's going on. We call it the superhero syndrome, where you got to fly in, swoop, and save the day for the business yet again. Save that upset customer, save that colleague of yours that's not working out, that employee that is threatening to leave. Save the systems, fix this, make the coffee while you're at it. That's the superhero syndrome. And the business is dependent upon you breaking your back. But that also means you need to break your back every single day, which is not a sustainable business. I actually was doing an interview today with a guest on my podcast, and it's called Entrepreneurship Elevated. It's our podcast. And I was doing this interview, and the guy said, the sad truth of most entrepreneurs is they work their tail off, yet the business doesn't grow beyond their effort. And then the day comes where they can't sustain the business anymore and they close the doors. That's the journey of most entrepreneurs. But we can break free of that, and we will, if you have a top client community you're serving, meaning they have a very specialized need, that you have a unique offering that matches that specialized need, and that the whole thing can be delivered in systems. Now, I just want to explain another element of this chart. And I bet you some people on this call may be experiencing, let me just make sure I can move my keyboard here and see everyone. Some people on this call may be experiencing a couple of these elements, but not achieving all three. And I just want to show you how that becomes a trap. For example, you may right now have top clients and you have a unique offering, something that's truly distinct in the market, but it's not systematized. That forms what I call, I slipped here, but hopefully you can read that. It says TFM. That was a little error here, but TFM stands for time for money. The time for money trap. And the time for money trap is where you have a client base you're serving, you have a unique offering, but it's not systematized. The only way to scale this business is by you working longer. And there's only a certain amount of time in the day. There's only so many times you can sacrifice your family, your friends, your life to do this. This is an exhausting trap, yet this is where the vast majority of businesses are. And I would even suggest they're not unique enough. They're offering something that's considered commoditized, and that becomes a trap in its own. In fact, that's the next trap. Commoditization happens where you have top clients that want your offering, need your offering. You have it systematized, but you're not perceived as extraordinarily distinct in the market. You're a commodity. And if you're seen as a commodity, it forms what's called DPP, stands for downward price pressure. Downward price pressure is where a customer says, oh, there's other people that do what you do. You're not that special. You're just an accountant or just a bookkeeper or just a coach, which, listen, I suspect if we had a chance to talk one-on-one, your credentials are far more than a just. But the consumer sees us as just a just. And if they see us as just a just, it will form downward price pressure. Oh, I can find an alternative. That bookkeeper down the street's cheaper. That accountant my uncle works with is better and cheaper. And even though you have it running on automatic, it gets downward price pressure. The only way to compete in this scenario, if you're not seen as truly unique, a one of one, what happens is you got to cut prices. It's the only way to stay competitive. If you move prices up too much, that might bite you in the butt. So that's the risk in that scenario. There's a third scenario. I don't think anyone on this call is in this situation. It's kind of funny though, where you have top clients. I'm sorry, no top clients. You have a uniqueness and you have it systematized, but no one wants to buy it. You don't have top clients. I don't have an acronym for that, but I definitely have the word for it. You're screwed. That says screwed. You're screwed. So you're screwed when you have great systems and a great uniqueness, but there's no consumers for it. And sadly, some businesses come out with these really unique, cool things. They invest heavily in the infrastructure to make it a reality, but no one wants to buy it, and they're done. So what I want to explain is with Profit First Professionals, over the last 5 years, we've become acutely aware of this model. I've documented this model extensively in my book, The Pumpkin Plan. We've worked very closely with our 350 plus members in delivering on these elements and maximizing all three. So the first thing we did is about uniqueness. So as a Profit First Professional, if you elect to pursue it, is that you will become a certified profit advisor with our firm, a certified Profit First Professional. That's truly unique in the market. I mean, go right now and Google how many profit advisors are out there. Ask any of your existing clients how many of them have worked with a profit advisor. We have developed a very specific offering that drives profitability in businesses, and you become a certified profit advisor. The beautiful thing about that label too is because it's so unique, and we're limiting Profit First Professionals to a small organization. We don't anticipate ever growing beyond 1,000 members. We don't want to, because we want to be elite. In the US market alone, there's well over 100,000 accountants. I think it's double that in bookkeepers, and coaches is off the charts. I think we're approaching like 300,000 coaches. So combined, there's like 500, 500,000 people that are in these generic categories. There's 350-ish profit advisors. So the first thing is offer something that's extremely unique in the market, assign a label to it. And that's what we've done with Profit First Professionals. That's step one to staying on the market. Step two is you have to have a client base that wants your offering. There was a study conducted in part by the SBA, Small Business Administration. I'm not sure of the other parties involved. There is, according to the SBA, 28 million small businesses in the US. There's 180 million small businesses globally. And the SBA defines this as a business that does $25 million in annual revenue or less. That's the definition of my company, 25 million in revenue or less. And I suspect for most of us, maybe everyone on this call, we're defined as small business. Small business is the makeup of the global economy. And 83% of them, according to research, I think it was conducted by the SBA, so don't count me on the source. 83% of these businesses are surviving check by check. And I suspect if you look at your own client base, when those clients came on board with you, how many clients had a wealth of cash behind them that they had earned through profitability? How many of them weren't worried about how they're going to pay rent for the next 2 or 3 months? How many of them took, a quarterly profit distribution? I would suspect none of them have taken quarterly profit distributions, or very few. None of them had money reserved so that when problems happened, they could just put the money down and didn't have to worry about making sales. How many of them had their rent and all those kind of ongoing operating costs covered already in advance? 83% of them, according to this research, didn't. There's this constant panic to, I need to sell more, I need to sell more, I need to sell more, and trying to play the cash flow game. So what these businesses need, the demand is profitability. 83% of businesses in the world are seeking a way to achieve permanent profitability. And the thing is, as a Profit First Professional, you have the tool set, the unique offering, and the elite status, if you will, and I take that very seriously, that you have this elite status to go with the proven methodology. This is the most accepted standard in the world now on profit cash management. You're in the position to serve these clients. So that's the position here. But of course, we need this last element, and it's systems. And we have developed the rollout of Profit First. Now, what you see in the book is the recipe for an entrepreneur to do it. It's simply the recipe. When it comes to the chefs, we give the entire tool set, all the tools you need to make and position a client for perpetual, permanent profitability. It goes far beyond the book, and we set up a system that we now call Profit U, or Profit University. And in there is a tool set of done-for-you tools to analyze a client's fiscal status currently, do a historical analysis, give them projections of where they could be, and a method, a rollout process to implementing profit first in their business and achieving permanent profitability. We put them in a position using our tools to have quarterly profit distributions. And to be very clear, the true definition of profit distributions, not just a lump of cash, it is profit that is in excess of the operations of the business and the payroll of all employees, including the owner themselves, and on top of any tax liabilities for the owners. Profit is a cash reward for being a shareholder in a business. So we have this whole methodology for rolling out the system. And I'll tell you, I don't know if you had those meetings with your accountant or bookkeeper or any kind of financial advisor where tax season rolls around and it becomes a shoot the messenger moment. Maybe you're the accountant or bookkeeper yourself. It becomes a shoot the messenger. Clients like, how much do I owe in taxes? You stink. What can you do for me? And they get upset with the messenger. We have an obligation to pay taxes. So we need a system that addresses taxes. That's part of the Profit First system. So the client doesn't have to worry about it. It's been reserved in advance. And now that quarterly meeting or annual meeting, if you did do that, isn't about how much money they owe the government. It's how much money they're getting in profit distribution. It turns that shoot the messenger into a celebration, which is a wonderful thing. We also teach you how to deliver the Profit First branding to differentiate yourself in the market. So first, you get all the tools, done-for-you tools, where you can prepare reports, run diagnostics, and so forth. The second thing is we show you how to leverage the brand. Profit First is Googled constantly, and you should be getting the SEO as a Profit First professional. So we'll give you all the branding material. We're just on the verge of rolling this out. It may be a few more months, but accredited badging. Sadly, there's been some people that purport that they are certified in Profit First. They've read the book, so they think they know it, and they start putting themselves out there as a Profit First professional when they're not. So we've notified entrepreneurs, and we continually to do this, to say, look for certified Profit First professionals only. And we have a badging, which you click on your site, comes back to our verification system and verifies that you are a certified active Profit First professional. So they know they're going to you, the real source of profit advisement, and they know they're working with someone that has the experience, training, and credibility. And then the last thing in the system is, for a system to work, you got to do it over and over again. A one-time, if you've done a project for 5 or 6 clients, is it really a system? What if you've done it for about 5 or 6,000 clients? Or what if you've done it for 10 or 20,000 clients? Well, Profit First, we have over 2,000 documented case studies of rollouts. We've about 5,000 to 10,000 active Profit First rollouts going on, or established clients that are being supported by a Profit First professional, or have integrated it internally and gone to a Profit First professional to validate it, and now are maintaining it internally. So we have a lot of case studies, a lot of resources that we can refer to in all industries, from farmers to pharmacies, from computer systems to professional services, to retail stores, to we have a public company that actually took on the system, to real estate, you name it. So what we do as Profit First professionals is we are acutely aware of the necessity, if you want to become an industry authority, is you got to master all 3 of these elements, and you got to pinpoint the middle. So to recap, we have a uniqueness, positioning you as a profit advisor. We have the authoritative book, Profit First. In this methodology, it stands out in the market, and you will stand out through our affiliation with you and all the tools and branding we give you. There is massive pent-up demand. We get in dozens and dozens of inquiries every day of clients, entrepreneurs, mostly small businesses, $25 million in revenue or less, some are bigger, reaching in saying, I need a Profit First professional, and we're directing them to the Profit First Professional Network. And then we have systems where we have a lot of done-for-you materials, and we have elements for you to upgrade your consulting. We teach you how to become a consultant to your clients around Profit First and all the considerations that are triggered outside of Profit First when you implement it to help your clients. And we give you direction on doing that. So we have all these elements. Okay, so let me tell you about becoming a Profit First professional. The first thing I want to show you is I'm going to give you a link to check out, but I'm going to give you details about our program and answer questions. We had an open invite to Profit First professionals for the longest time, and the trouble with that for us, honestly, in our systems, was that we're getting a lot of people that weren't familiar with it and didn't go through this preliminary education of just knowing how we work and what our objectives are, and their preliminary questions weren't answered. As a result, we got a lot of people kicking tires. We are a lean, mean organization. There's 14 employees here. We're a tiny company, personnel-wise, having a massive impact. And so we decided is, Mike, me, why don't we start doing webinars to do the basic education, and then let's only talk with people that are seriously considering membership. So membership, we're going to ask for a deposit, and I'll explain that in a second, which simply secures your spot in consideration. During this process, you will interview us, and we will interview you, because we want to make sure that this is a great fit for you. Does it complement your vision objectives for your business, for your life? And if it doesn't, let's not do it. And if it does, we want to ask the same of you. Do you complement what our objectives are as an organization and the mission we have to serve these 100 million plus clients that are starving for profitability? Only if there's a mutual fit do we decide to go forward. Let me explain. I know it's the first question you're likely going to have is, what's the fee? What's the investment? So the investment in Profit First Professionals is $5,000. It's actually a little bit less, but $5,000 to become a Profit First Professional annually. And I want you to consider comparing that against marketing. How much do you spend, or would you spend, on marketing? And marketing is defined multiple ways: going to networking events, the time you spend, maybe you do social media or Facebook ads. I'm not a big fan of Facebook ads, but maybe you do those, or whatever. How much time, because time's usually the biggest factor, how much money are you spending on that? And could this replace that, tenfold? Can you get 10 times the return of what you're doing now? And or would it cost 10 times less? A lot of people we speak with, once they evaluate all the time they spend, they're spending tens of thousands of dollars in getting the word out or trying to matriculate word of mouth leads. Compared to that, some other people are saying, you know what, I don't do anything. I just wait for my leads to come in. I'm getting about, one lead a month or something like that. What if we could amplify that to one lead a week or 2 leads a week? That's the way I want you to see it. So it is a investment in standing out. But what will happen in protocol is when you decide to become a Profit First professional, we will walk you through a 6-month training program. We get you implementing Profit First in your business. We believe for you to dole out medicine, you need to be willing to take medicine. If I didn't do Profit First for myself, and I have for 10 years, well before I wrote the book, I was doing it, it would be illogical. So we live by, our entire organization's run by Profit First. We expect the same of every member, to implement Profit First, to know it not just at a logical level, but an emotional level, so you can relate to your customers. Then we will give you the tools, all the tool training, the branding setup. You'll connect with other Profit First professionals. We usually have about 15 people going through a class at a time. We actually can only accept 5 people today, just as a heads up, just because we filled up that class. But we have about 15 people going through a class. You come out to our offices too. We call it convocation for training. We had convocation this past Friday, and then we're going to do our next class. So I'd love to meet you in person. Then after that 6-month period, you go through our certification exam. There's little mini tests and stuff going up to it. Our goal is to help you pass that exam by knowing you've mastered the material, not to give you the answers, but to master the material. Then once you become certified, you get the certified badging and so forth, and we leverage that to distinguish you. As you're building up that certification, we do start rolling out your offering to clients, telling them integrally you're not certified yet, but you're in the process, and introducing it to them so you can start getting your feet wet in the process. That's the essence of what Profit First Professionals is about. And what I want to do is answer any questions you have now. But before I do that, if you're interested, from the information you heard, like I told you, we got 5 slots that we're opening today for our next convocation class. I'm going to paste in the link. So in the chat, I just pasted the link there. Just click on the link and it'll bring you to a page. There's a little bit more information there. you just process the deposit, fully refundable. But what I'll do is we'll schedule a call with Diana or Ron, one of my team members here, sometimes me, and we'll go through in detail what your objectives are, make sure Profit First Professionals is a complement to that, and then vice versa. We want to qualify you. So, I'm sorry. I said I put in the link and I put it to all panelists, but I guess you guys are not panelists, so that kind of stung. Yeah, see if you can see the link now, guys. So, yeah, okay, you see it. Okay, so let me go through. Why don't you ask questions? Sorry about putting the bad link in there. Let me just go through some questions here. One I see from C says, Mike, I'm a huge advocate of Profit First and implementing it. Thank you. If you're not an accountant or CPA, is there a benefit to becoming a certified Profit First professional? Or who would it be best to direct them to who is? I'm developing a coaching program with young remodeling contractors to change their business around. So listen, if you are a coach that helps in business growth, and I think that may speak to you, if you help in business growth, the fundamental, the foundational requirement for business is profitability. They must be permanently profitable to grow. Otherwise, if they grow without profit, it becomes a cash flow game. At a certain point, it becomes a house of cards and it can collapse. So in a scenario like that, yes, I would consider, Steve, for you, Profit First Professionals membership. We do certify, we call it the ABCs, accountants, bookkeepers, and business coaches. So ABC, accountant, bookkeeper, coach. So if you are a coach helping with business growth, I would encourage you to do it. If you're not helping with growth, maybe you're an HR for contractors or something like that. I don't know if Profit First would be a fit for you. What I would do in that case is go into our system where it's profitfirstprofessionals.com, click on Find One, fill out what you're looking for, and we'll introduce you to someone that will gladly service that business opportunity and serve you. Let me just go through a couple more. What if you don't have $5,000 in a lump sum? Can I do $500 a month? So yes, we do have an installment plan. Thank you for asking that. I'd say about 75% of our members actually prefer monthly. There is a expectation, but not a requirement, that you'll go through 6 months of training. Well, the full year ideally. And ultimately, we want you to be so blown away and to be of such service to you that you'll want to stay for life, of course. So, but at any time, if you feel it's not a fit, we never want to be a burden. I just want you to have the expectation that you got 6 months of really training and putting an effort into this and learning our marketing so you can stand out in a big way. So yes, we do monthly installments. Some people are talking about they know each other and they don't, and they're kind of cloning each other. I'm doing Profit First in my business and have one client that turned me onto the book. Oh, that's good to hear that. It's awesome you're already doing it. It gives you a leg up. If you decide to become certified in Profit First, we'll leverage that momentum, and you may actually be able to certify quicker than 6 months for sure if you're doing yourself already. Currently, and by the way, that's how our program works. We're able to throttle it here. We do have individual guides that work with you, so you will have an assigned contact here. Everyone gets nicknames. This is how we roll here. We like to have some fun. So you may work with the Hawaiian Lumberjack or Mo or a Badass Billy Ann, but one of our team members will work with you personally to help move you along through this program. Currently, I'm a solopreneur. This is from Jennifer, and my clients are very small. As much as they probably need Profit First, do you offer assistance with how to reach the current audience when marketing as a PFP? Yeah, so we will, Jennifer, look at your existing client base and show you how to approach them. If a business is so small, say it makes $10,000 a year, to ask them to spend with you, $10,000 a year, and that's often, many of our PFPs are charging just for the Profit First component alone, $5,000 to $10,000 per client per year for their work. We'll give you pricing strategies. All that will be given to you. Plus, they do their own services. So, $5,000 to $10,000 a year just for Profit First quarterly meetings. Add that up, 5 or 10 clients. That's some serious money. A small client that makes $10,000 a year, that's everything they have. Of course, they won't do it. So there are certain size clients that Profit First may not be a fit for them yet. We'll show you how to kind of bifurcate them out from the clients that it is a fit, and then target the clients that can afford you. We really discourage cheapening your prices. Profit First is a high-end consultative service that addresses clients' needs, and we discourage you offering it on the cheap. we think your value is much greater than that. I signed up last week, but I have not received a call. I verify that was received? So Deb, I see you signed up last week. Did you put a deposit down? Or did you simply go through the generic system? We're getting so many leads, so many inquiries about becoming a Profit First professional. It is taking us about 2 to 3 weeks to get back to people who are inquiring about becoming a member through our standard system. If you do the deposit, we know you're dead serious, and those are the people getting prioritized. So Deb, that may take a while just because of the demand. That's why we're doing these educational events first. So I'd invite you to consider put down a deposit, and we'll get that call immediately scheduled, and we'll determine if it's a fit or not. Jeff asks, is it only accountants or others? It's ABCs, accountants, bookkeepers, or coaches. So if you're a wealth manager, this may not be a fit. If you're a lawyer, we actually, it was interestingly, we had enough inquiries from lawyers that we actually set up a special offering for lawyers, but it's for accountants, bookkeepers, or coaches. There's so many comments. Let me just post the link one more time. So that's the link. And I can see a couple of people, 3. Oh, gosh, I wish I had my glasses on. Some people already have deposited. So the 5th person that signs up, just so you know, the system will block you when you try to process the card, and then we can just schedule another time. Jennifer says, is the $500 refundable? The deposit is $495 specifically. Yeah, it's fully refundable. So anytime, Jennifer, you feel it's not a fit, or we reserve the right to say we don't think it's a fit at this time, it's refunded immediately. Immediately and fully, and we don't continue. If you decide to continue membership, we of course apply it to your membership. Do you have international leads or inquiries? I work in France. Yeah, we actually had a member in Bordeaux. So yes, we get international inquiries. Profit First, the book, has not been translated into French yet. It's been translated into 13 or 14 languages. The most popular areas are English speaking, Spanish speaking. We are in India, which is considered English speaking for the business side, even though I know Hindi and other languages are popular, Tamil and stuff. So English, Spanish, German, Dutch, Netherlands, a lot of Central Europe. We're not in Italian, and the book's not in French yet. So there are inquiries that come in from the French market, but it is significantly less, Sebastian, than the equivalent in other European countries. Is it a one-time fee or an annual fee? So it's annual, and we're cancelable any time. Our members, we have a lot of members, that started day one and are with us 5 years later and sticking with us. So you have the right to cancel any time. And if it's not a fit, if you're not getting the $5,000 worth in the first, after you finish your 6 months of certification, if you don't get the $5,000 back multiple times over in the first year, something's wrong. Either you're not following the system or it's not a fit for you, and we encourage you to cancel. If you follow the system and you deliver on what we direct you to do, the vast majority of our members hit it out of the park. Do you have any geographical exclusivity? No, we don't. This is Shane's question. Since we're limiting the organization to 1,000 members globally for global presence, there is no geographic territories. And my question, Shane, is how many times have you run across a PFP in your territory? Hopefully, or the area you serve, probably never, maybe one. There's a lot of opportunity out there. We encourage niche specialization, though. So we have Profit First professionals who specialize in Amazon sellers, in optometry, stuff like that. And another spot got filled. So guys, I think there's one more spot left if you want to put your deposit down. So we don't do geographic territories. So that's it. So we do invite people to limit competition in niche specialization, but there's so many niches, and in keeping our membership low, we actually don't have any conflict there. What's the fee? We talked about that, $5,000 annually. It's actually less than that, but I'm just rounding. Is it a good fit for personal finance coaches? Kayla, I would say no. Profit First is designed for business finances. And while there is an adaptation, it's talked about in the book for personal finances, I would suggest that you pass on that to serve personal finance. Does the certification process require any physical attendance at any stage? it doesn't require it. It's strongly encouraged. We have an annual event called Profit Con, happens every September in New Jersey. That's where we're based out of, right near Newark Airport. We have a one-time event we call Convocation. We have some people just due to travel restrictions, actually one person because of health considerations that they don't come, and that's fine. We accommodate that. We do a lot of Zoom calls. How does the Profit First professional system allow you to stop swapping time for money? Right. So you move to a value-based model. Time for money is where you do work on an hourly basis and you got to work more hours. With Profit First, how the system's set up is that you will offer your services on a value-based price, fixed fee. So some reports, and this is maybe an anomaly, but some reports our members do will charge, say, $5,000 or $10,000. They'll get it done in like 2 hours. So the hourly translation is significant, the return and profitability is significant, but the impact for the client is extraordinary. So that's a very great deal. They're benefiting from the 5 years of our membership, and the 10 years of my research is being delivered to them in a package. So they're actually huge winners. So that's how we move out of the model. You're selling packages. I'm moving from the time-based. All right, yeah, I saw you signed up. Yep, a few people saying they signed up. I saw that. Again, fully refundable. Our objective, though, is that we'll schedule the call. Vanessa, how many leads does a typical PFP receive from your team per month? Okay, great question. We do not give you leads. While we get many inquiries, we direct the inquiries to our established members who are called the mastery level. That is not available at this stage. Once you become a member and have proven your ability to deliver Profit First and service it, then you're open to become a mastery member and receive leads. We give you the branding and differentiators. I would say of the leads that come in directly, that represents about 20% of all the leads on any given day. Most are doing through SEO. So at our event last week, everyone set up their LinkedIn SEO, they set up their pages, we gave them all the direction, and they're already getting leads that way. So we do not, be very clear on this, we do not give you the leads until you've established a proven ability with Profit First and elect to become a mastery member. I'm sorry, did you say there's a payment plan? So Portia asks, is there a payment plan? Yes. If you, Debbie, I saw you paid too. Thank you. You did the deposit. Yes, there is a payment plan. It's divided by 12. So if it's 5,000, divide that by 12. And oh, I'm sorry. I take it back. Divide it by 10. If you do an annual payment, you actually get 2 payments for free. So it's around $500, but there is a payment plan. And when you talk on the phone with our team member here, we'll explain that and just figure out what's best for your cash flow purposes. Let's see. If my real estate clients and law firm professionals, will this work for helping such clients? Yes, it absolutely works for real estate. I can't disclose the name, but a major real estate agency has contacted us because of their interest in implementing it for their, I'll say, over 100,000 real estate agents, and there's actually more than that, that are interested in implementing Profit First and are going to need Profit First consulting. Because of the project's size, I'm personally handling that. I'm going to meet with them, and we're going to discuss how Profit First professionals can help them. But this isn't just for that one real estate firm. There's dozens, there's hundreds of real estate firms out there that could benefit from this. Law firms use it too, for sure. We have many law firms using Profit First. So it works for those niches. We're going to start wrapping things up. I'm going a little bit over time. I apologize for that. Let me just put the link in here one more time. Sebastian, I saw yours too. And we will schedule a call with you in the next day or two. So everyone that's put down their deposits. I wish I had my class. I can't see if they've all come in. We will schedule a call with you the next day or two. Are there many PFPs practicing in the UK? Charlotte asks, Carrie Martin, I mean, there's like 6 or 7 in the London area. I don't know off the top of my head. I put in my credit card. How do I know if it took? So once you put your credit card in, you will get a receipt in the email address you included with your confirmation number. And so we'll tell you, okay, got your receipt. Okay, so we'll just have our team call you. Okay, let me say some final thoughts. I think I addressed most of the questions. I hope I got them right. Let me say thank you. I appreciate you even just showing interest in this consideration. I don't know if Profit First Professionals is right for you, but I want to say this. If you don't feel it is, it's not right. And this is not the time to do it. So I don't want anyone to feel pressured to do it, or you're on the fence, you don't know. Trust your gut. But also, I just encourage you, if your gut says, you know what, it's time I stand out. It's time I differentiate myself in the market. It's time I dictate a premium. It's time I deliver a consultative service to my clients. If you're feeling that, it's okay to be nervous. We'll walk you through everything. And I just ask that you put your deposit down now. We'll schedule a call and we'll bang this out. It's a privilege connecting with all of you. I wish I could see you face to face, and just wishing you tremendous profits in this remainder of 2019. And I'll see you around, hopefully here at my offices, and we can shake hands and maybe, hug it out. All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I'll see you. Bye-bye. You're welcome. Thanks. Thanks for the kind words. I'm putting the link in here again. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks, Debbie and Charlotte. I appreciate you. And there's the link one more time. All right, click on that link now if anyone wants to sign up. I think there was a spot left. If the system cancels out, it'll tell you that it's not available anymore. All right, take care, guys. Wishing you the best. Here's to a very profitable year ahead. Bye-bye.